Well, should we do we have any other introduction to our list? We just
Nah, I don't think so, man. I have
just
nothing.
me neither. Let's let's do the damn thing.
I was thinking about like, I
Um
don't know, maybe movies I could talk about that are not on the list. I don't know.
yeah, we could
I kind of want to talk about is this thing on?
yeah, yeah, please do. I have not seen this thing on yet.
Yeah, because it's weird. It's kind of like might be fun to talk about because it's weird.
I don't know that this came out in theaters over here until like a couple of weeks ago. Um
Hmm. Well, it was a
oh, was
Christmas
it?
Day
Okay.
release.
Maybe that's it.
All right, yeah. So I guess yeah, movies that are not on the list. I'm not saying these movies should have made the list. Let's get that clear. Some of
Just
them could
highlighting
have,
some
yeah, just highlighting some. Um, okay, so is this thing on the Bradley Cooper, Will Arnett joint? Um, speaking of which, John's favorite podcast was nominated for a Globe.
yeah. Smartless.
Yeah, we all know how much John loves Smartless and
Super fan.
never
I
has nothing.
subscribe to like the highest tier of their Patreon. Um,
And what about that great moment at the Globes where the Smartless crew stood before us so we could just sit in awe at them? And
of
like,
course
how
they
do they
killed
do it?
it.
Yeah,
Of course they
of
killed
course, yeah.
it.
Like, how do they do it? How do they
Yeah.
do it?
We have a lot to learn
Um,
from them. I'll say that.
it's
Get on
like
their
I was
level.
really annoyed by that part of the Globes. We even talked about that because we
Yeah.
shared about, that we have some distaste for not receiving any recognition at all for, now that podcasts are being nominated for Globes. Nothing. We didn't hear anything. I checked the email, um,
Yeah. Not
and
an
I just
email,
made
not a
sure.
phone call, nothing.
Now, yeah, check the spam folder. Nothing. Checked our DMs. Nothing. Uh, but what really bothered me, because I don't do this for the prizes. I don't. But what
I
really
do.
bothered,
I do.
yeah, John. So we
That's
we
where we
we
differ.
we defer on that.
Mhm.
But like the ones they nominated for for best podcast, like if you're gonna have that stupid award to begin with, like can you at least nominate the best podcast? Like I like Amy Poehler a lot, and I'm happy she has a podcast with the great Bill Simmons of The Ringer, and you know, um, I've tuned into the podcast. It's enjoyable, but I don't think it deserves like an award necessarily. And
No.
like, yeah. And so it's like, why are all the podcasts like these? Every podcast that's nominated are like these spawned podcasts that actors are clearly doing as a side hustle. And how come it's not like how come I know it's over, but how come WTF is not nominated in its final year? You know,
Yeah. One of the
even as
OGs.
even at like as a lifetime achievement award, and it's definitely one of the best podcasts. Like you can't like it's like how is it not nominated?
And almost
Um,
everyone in that room at the Golden Globes was probably on the podcast at some point.
right, right, and it's like a celebration of show business, and it won't ever get the chance to be nominated again. I
Hmm.
don't know exactly what the rules are and stipulations and stuff, but how is that not nominated? I mean, they had an ad for it with him there, but and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I don't think he gives a shit because the award is a joke no matter who you nominate. But to me, and like definitely probably to you, who we both like listen to, maybe you could classify us as podcast purists. We can like point
Yes.
out if you're like an amateur podcaster or not. We can sniff it out. That's why like John, has tremendous resentment to the smartless guys because he
Ugh,
like John he
don't even
knows
get
that
me
it's
started.
it's a joke to podcasters everywhere. And
Yeah.
so like
Insult.
yeah, it is. Like they're like like I'll name more besides WTF. Like how come you could say what's another one? Like actually I guess smart like well, how come smart listed win?
Yeah.
Well, like
Actually, like NPR it actually does some like really good
yeah,
quality
there we go.
podcast
Thank you,
stuff too.
God.
It's not just celebrities like yeah, of course, like you said, I love Amy Poehler. I think she's great.
Right.
Her podcast is like yeah, it's a side business, and
It's very medium level. It's
it's her
nice.
just like
Yeah.
goofing around, chatting
Yeah.
with some people that she likes, and it's like very like there's a very low bar for it. It's just like positive and happy, whatever. But there's not like it's not nothing groundbreaking or it's just like that's where I feel like the whole podcast Golden Globes category is just kind of like cringy in a way.
Because it
It
has like its
feels
own
like
idea
embarrassing.
of like the genre of podcasts, you
Yeah.
know, um,
When there
like
are like
office hours. How come that's better than all the podcasts? How come any other thing in the ringer that isn't? I would say that Amy Poehler's podcast might be the worst ringer podcast that I've listened to. How come you know?
yeah.
Um,
No, The
I
Ringer
like the
actually has done a good job at like producing
they're fantastic.
like the
Yeah.
podcast form and like
Yeah.
having all these different
They're
shows. Yeah.
I'll listen to The Ringer and I'm like, man, this is what John and I should try to get on this level or
I
something,
yeah.
like I'll shout out more. Blank Check with Griffin and David is also one of my favorite podcasts, and they happen to be in the ad with Mark Maron. So how come they're not nominated?
It's
And they
because
had
they aren't like they have to be a celebrity before
right,
like the
right.
podcast,
It doesn't.
you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. It's like the same as not like showing cinematographers or something like that. It's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
same. Because like Blank Check in the past year, I don't know if you've listened to any of their stuff, but uh, they had Mark Maron on an episode. They had Seth Rogen on an episode doing The Big Lebowski. I was listening, and I was like, I am just like every episode is just on fire. There's like why aren't the comedians? There's so many comedian podcasts that are great, and they're
Hmm.
actually good at it. Unlike the actors, like they're like meant to do it. The
Yeah.
actors are not meant to do. The actors are not meant to do it because the actors are what they mainly do is they read other people's like lines. That's why they're they're good at reading other people's writing. That's why like Leo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence talking to each other in Variety Actors on Actors sucks. It's
Yeah.
awful. Even though you're like such a fan of both of them, actors should not be moderating conversations in any way.
Yeah.
Except for specific ones. I don't mean to like cast them all, but a majority of them don't really have a lot to say. And it's like why variety actors on actors is such a cringe like thing every single time. It never ceases not to be cringe. No matter
Yeah.
how charming the main people are, or how excited they are to talk to each other to begin with, it's always weird. Um,
Yeah, it's like these I don't know, it just feels like a group of people who are maybe taking what they do too seriously or it's just yeah, it's just cringy. And I think there was a great like the guys have you seen like Tim Heidecker's thing that he did with Jeremy and Rajat the Joe Rogan like parody?
yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen that. Yeah. But those two guys that he did it with did a parody with Justin Theroux of like the actors on actors thing. And it's so funny because
Oh yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
essentially doing the same thing, but it's like they're just saying like nonsense.
Right. Yeah.
But then like everybody's kind of agreeing. They're like, so when I'm doing this role, it was important for me to do this. And then everybody's like, yeah, yeah, wow, yeah, yeah. It's just like it's kind of just like boring conversation about I don't know. It's like people that aren't really that interesting to listen to talk about their like what they do. But I actually think like the directors are always more. entertaining and interesting to listen to
Right.
talk about.
In that format. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I was watching like I think it was like the Hollywood Reporter Roundtable after that. And there's actually a moderator for the actors.
Yeah.
So and I actually like sometimes the moderators are annoying, but I actually found the moderator to serve a really good purpose there. Cause like yeah, because someone needs to control the conversation and choose who talks and who doesn't and shit. And I found that one way more palatable than when the actors, you're just going to give two actors the, the floor to moderate their own conversation. Yeah, I'm watching the actors one and it's got like Mark Hamill. Uh, it does not have Chalamet. It has Jacob Elordi. It has Adam Sandler. It has Jeremy Allen White. It has Michael B. Jordan and other people I'm forgetting. Uh,
What was Mark Hamill in that he
he
was
was
like
in
a part of
some
that?
like Mike Flanagan film.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even
It actually
think
looks
that he
kind
was
of
in
cool.
anything.
Um, but and it was it's a good one to watch. But the main point of it that I'm driving at here is you have all these talented people. They're all very talented. I like them all in their own way. You know, they're all amazing. However, every time Adam Sandler spoke, I was like, none of these guys are even close to this guy for me.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even come close.
Not even Luke Skywalker.
Not yeah, not Luke
Not even Luke
Skywalker,
fucking Skywalker.
not Michael B. Jordan, who's right there, like the coolest looking guy ever.
Hmm.
Like I was like, Adam Sandler is just on another level for me than all of these guys. Like how much I love this guy, how unique and talented he is. I was just yeah, it was just like just such a funny thing I noticed because he didn't even talk as much as like he probably spoke the least, you know, because he's humble.
I'm sure, yeah.
He's humble, right?
He doesn't need
But
that. Yeah.
every time he spoke, I'm just like, God, this guy. I can't get over how much I love this man. Uh, like, you know, um, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
that's the thing.
another
Like, I mean,
shout
with
out to
the
Sandler over here, I guess.
yeah, shout out to Sandler. Um, Even those like smartless guys, I don't like dislike them individually or anything, but it's
Right,
like the
right.
idea of these
Yeah.
three famous guys getting together, then they have the most popular podcast.
What they're doing is obnoxious, objectively. Very
Yes.
obnoxious. Yeah.
Yes. Um, and yeah, it's just so like it just feels so like lazy too. Like they can just it's like so easy for them to just like make a podcast and bring their famous
Right.
friends on, and then they make money so easily from that.
How come Conan O'Brien's podcast not on
Actually,
there?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like that's a super well produced like podcast
Yeah.
as well. That
Yep.
um yeah, it's like he keeps like I don't know adapting to whatever um wherever like I don't know the talk show kind of format is going. He's always like
Yeah.
adapting to it right away, and now that's like his new show, and it's
Right.
yeah
And I think he's like for me, he's like I don't know, he's aged into that well. He's really good in that
yeah
format. Like he's really funny in it,
yeah
depending on who the guest is. And he's
hmm
just good at having a room of people around where he's the center and then there's another guest. And it's just and it also has been around longer than all the ones that are nominated and probably influenced a bunch of them too. So it's like, again, why is that one not nominated?
yeah
Again, this is a stupid award. It doesn't mean if you win at all, but pick better like nominees is all I'm saying. Like
yeah. I'm looking at the nominees list here, and it's yeah, Good Hang with Amy Poehler, which also I don't even think that's been around for like a
it was
year.
this year. It's been a year.
Yeah,
So it's
it's
like
been
it's
like
rookie
6 or 7 months.
season. It's like if Victor Wembanyama won MVP his rookie year, you
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
Um,
A lot of
and then
similarities in that.
yeah. Amy Poehler's the Wembenyama of
Yeah.
podcasting.
Yeah.
But then like Dax Shepard's podcast too. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. See, that's another one, man. That's another one. And I think it's been around longer than Smartless and Good Hang, I think.
yeah, yeah, that one's been around for
It's
I
been
think
around a
even
good amount, right?
before COVID, maybe even.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's still just like I didn't even think Dax Shepard was that popular of a person, and then he has his podcast, and then it becomes like one of the biggest podcasts just like day one.
Right. Right.
It's yeah, but it's I've listened to that before too, and it's just like oh look, Dax Shepard is into like spirituality and
Right.
or
He has an
stuff too,
addiction
and
history that's insane
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Um and then too I like I know I feel like people like hate on this person too, but his like producer that he has on is like really annoying too. And there's always like a I don't know, some of these people like Conan, I feel like that all the tertiary people that he brings on, like Sona and Matt, I
Yeah.
feel like they all have great chemistry and they work so well together
Yeah.
and they know when to chime in and when to let the guest, the guest and
Yeah.
Conan just go
Right.
at it. Um, but yeah, then there are other places where, these people are um it's just like, oh, isn't this fun? We're just like talking to celebrities and stuff, and it's not just like I don't know, it doesn't feel real. It just feels too like phony that we're clearly doing this just for money and to yeah, to
Is
stroke
that
our
all
own
the
egos.
nominees?
Oh, and then the Mel Robbins podcast, which I do not know
I
what
don't
that
even
is.
don't even know what that is.
And Smartless, we Call Her Daddy, which is one I've heard of. As I think it
What
was
is
like a
that again?
Barstool. I think it was like a Barstool podcast at one point. It's like um this girl just it's the same as like all these other ones. This girl interviews famous people and I think this podcast was one of like the early like popular podcasts. Um so it like it's been at least around longer and she wasn't like
Right.
she became like famous from the podcast, not from like before that. So at least she has that, but it's not like something cutting edge or really like award worthy podcast. It's just like you know, some famous people talking to each other and
Right.
selling, they probably have like energy drinks on their set that they're trying to sell too,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Like how Theo Vaughn is always drinking Celsius.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Um, I was gonna bring this up. Well, which one first? I've the podcast rabbit hole so deep, so I keep thinking of more keep popping up. Have you ever listened to David Spade and Dana Carvey's podcast?
yeah, I've listened to a few of those episodes. Yeah.
All right, because
If there's
like
like a
there
guest on that
was,
I want to hear from.
I've only listened to one. I only watched one, but I had like kind of a weird experience watching it. That kind of
Really?
relates to this because like Louis C.K. was doing his like press tour for his book, so he was popping on all these podcasts, and that was one of them. And I don't know, I just found David Spade and Dana Carvey to be awful on their podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've how you've I've only watched one. I've only watched one, so I can't like take much
I
from
think
that.
I know and you have your bias against David Spade too. Or no, do you like
I've softened to Spade recently.
okay. You used to
I mean,
really not like
I
him
watched
though.
the wrong Missy, John.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
That's right.
but no, I think I went open, very open with this. But there was just something about it. Like I I found like just before you chime in, like I found their chemistry to be really lacking. I thought Dana Carvey just kept doing voices in like certain moments that felt like he just was trying to fill air. And also because he didn't have anything else to bring to the table to a degree. And I almost thought I noticed, I was like, does Spade seem annoyed by Dana Carvey. Like in this interview, he seemed annoyed by him and also just wasn't bringing much himself because he's just a laid back dude. That's just the very nature of David Spade. So I just found that to be in a similar way to the Smartless vibe of like, this is just a forced Hollywood podcast
Yeah.
completely. So I don't know how you if you agree or like or if you like the podcast a little more than that. Cause
I've
but I was like, this is brutal. Like I thought it was brutal.
I've probably listened to like 3 episodes and never been blown away by their like interviewing skills or
Right,
conversations.
right,
Like I think Dana Carvey is a great guest on like Conan's podcast or
right,
because he can go into these bits or voices or
right,
anything. But
right.
um but I also I have no idea why they're doing this together because they don't seem I one didn't know that they were like, close. I feel like they haven't like worked together even on SNL. I don't even
It's like
maybe they
they
had
came
some
from the same
crossover.
era of SNL. Like what else can you say really? Like
Yeah. But what I noticed in their interviews is that they ask like very generic questions.
yeah,
They
yeah.
just they clearly I think they do look back at like other interviews that their guests have done before and then they bring up what I've noticed is that they will bring up like, "Oh, so you did this," and it's like something that they've talked about multiple times on like other podcasts or interviews before. Um, because I think one of them that I've listened to is like Fred Armisen when he was on there. Because Fred
Right.
Armisen
I
is
actually
someone
want
who
to get to
all
that one. See, I'm not done with it. You know what I
yeah
mean?
yeah. But that's I don't like listen to episodes of that unless it's like someone who I really want to hear from, and it's like oh
Right.
I like Fred Armisen, and I think
Like
he has like
Sandler's on there at one point too.
yeah. Yeah, and that would be one like they're probably really good buddies, so that would maybe be an entertaining conversation at least. But um, I think when they had Fred on, like they're just like always trying to like bring up the same like
Characters.
the same questions about his SNL characters that he's probably talked about a million times
Right.
on every interview. That it's like there's like the quality of the podcast is not that great. It's like the selling point is this is David Spade and Dana Carvey and they're talking to people about SNL, and it's like this
Yeah.
is familiar stuff to people, so they'll be able to like make money from it. But that's like you said, that's what it seems like. It's just like this is an easy way for us to have some side project to like make some money, and
Yeah. I
yeah.
was I was kind of just shocked at how bad I thought it was. I felt like I was being very objective. I was just kind of like, I can't believe
Even like
how
even if they are like close friends, it's like Dana Carvey and David Spade, they don't have like a good like between them, they're like
right. They don't
back and
seem like it.
forth.
They
Yeah.
don't seem like they like each other on it, which is probably not even true, but just some people I don't think are meant to be podcasted, which is the whole point where I think we're trying to make here. By being very like kind of critical and nitpicky of all these podcasts, I just don't think everyone's meant to be podcasting. Um,
Yeah.
and because there's plenty that are. There's plenty that are. Um, um, I thought of oh another Bad Friends. You could nominate that for the Golden Globes. I think Bad
What's that
Friends
one
is great.
again?
Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right, right. Okay.
I think
I
that's
haven't listened to that.
a super entertaining, funny podcast every time I put it on. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there are like more entertaining podcasts out there that aren't like I don't know, just like sort of the generic mainstream, like what your like mom could listen to and not be, I don't know, and like be in on the joke, like Amy Poehler. Like I just feel like it's a very safe thing to like
yeah,
pick too for like some awards like this. Yeah, I guess I'll shout out while we're shouting out other
yeah,
podcasts
yeah. I was
that you
gonna
can
say, well,
listen
while we're doing it,
that you can listen to besides anything that's been nominated for a Golden Globe. But like the only two podcasts that I really listen to like regularly are is Office Hours, which I
Yeah,
watch, but
right.
that I think they do a great job of like putting on like a show, and they
Sure.
have
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not just a couple of
There's
people sitting
segments
talking around.
ongoing and
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's every week is like new because there's people calling in and different guests
right.
um and Joy Tactics is another one I listen to, which is
What is
uh
that?
so that's the guys who they're kind of in the Conor O'Malley sphere um of like alternative comedy, and they it's again both of these podcasts I listen to are very like uncorporate, like independent, doing their own
Right,
thing.
right. I can tell. Yeah.
They're not trying to sell you any, which I mean I know like Mark Maron has like Squarespace ads and stuff, but those are clearly just like pay the bills. He's not like shilling over all these like I don't know. He wasn't on some big podcast network um like all like Smartless creates
Mhm.
Smartless Media or something. So yeah, Joy Tactics is just these three like lesser known comedians that they go on, they have a topic and they just like joke around. And they do two episodes a week, and it's just like super laid back and really funny. And you're not like it's like authentic, and you're not getting sold something, or it's not just some like corporate like, hey, let's get these celebrities to talk to each other and make money off of it. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's what my advocacy for people out there is to listen to more grassroots DIY podcasts such as the Cinebums. Um,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's kind of the
yeah,
same. I was couldn't help but pointing. I felt like I was looking in a mirror when you described those.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
Main
didn't
point
become
is that
celebrities until we started doing this show. Now we're celebrities. It
yeah,
wasn't the
now
other way
we
around.
don't now we don't care.
Yeah,
But yeah, and the main point is there's plenty of people who are very good at podcasting and are clearly like podcast professionals, and we should shed a light on them. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Show them how it's done. You know,
Hmm.
I think like Jason. I think that someone say like Bill Simmons, you know, or Max Kellerman of The Ringer, they would make Will Arnett and Jason Bateman run for the hills.
Yeah,
They would scare them, you know, they would scare them. They wouldn't be able to handle it.
I do think Bill Simmons is like yeah, he's really good at what he does.
He's
Like,
fantastic. He's fantastic.
and
I'm
that's without
enthralled
him
by it.
being,
Yeah.
he was just like a sports writer or something and then turned in
Right.
this
Yeah. Yeah.
corporation, or not
Yeah. Yeah.
corporation, but this whole like network that's like really successful. And he hasn't had to, even like the other shows he started too. Like, I know they like The Ringer has a bunch of movie podcasts too, and it's not like it's hosted by these celebrities. Like,
No, no, it's just like, yeah, exactly. I feel like very, I'm like, oh, that's just like a guy like me. Whenever it's like one of
yeah,
his, it's just like one of his friends. Yeah, he's interesting because I remember always like watching him like on ESPN, and it would be like the halftime of like the Lakers or Celtics or something. I don't know if I'm getting the year right, but just something like when we were kids, and it'd be like Magic Johnson, and then like Magic Johnson and maybe Michael Wilbon or something, and then Bill Simmons. And I would always be like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, and he like, and I'm like, he has a big mouth and shit. I'm like, who is he? What does he even do? I don't get it. And then
yeah,
like I would read some of his articles, right? And I would usually find them actually very entertaining. But then I remember he moved from like ESPN to like HBO, and I would like tuned into that show, and I was like, what is this guy? Like, what does he even do? You know, blah blah blah. And then
yeah,
like a few years ago, I actually like it took me forever to discover like actually like listen to his podcast or like listen to more of The Ringer, and then I was like, oh, this guy's found his format for sure. Like I was like, this is killer. And I remember like turning on his sports podcast, and it was like 5 minutes in, and I'm like, holy crap, this is like one of the best podcasts I've ever listened to. Like like just this sports podcast where he's talking about basketball.
yeah. Yeah, it's like he totally found what he was good at, and then um, yeah, has turned into something extremely successful based on that. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just cool that it wasn't, it is, he is like an entrepreneur in that way too. It wasn't like he was, he got to work at like ESPN just based on like kind of starting up his own thing too. And so yeah, that I always like respect that more than I don't know, someone who just sort of one of the like the anchors on like Sports Center who just go there and
It's
they're
like
just
similar,
like
like I don't know, I feel like
run of the mill.
the actors like say who are doing the podcast, it reminds me of like say like the basketball players who are not good at like covering the NBA. I'm like
Yeah.
kind of like outside the inside the NBA crew. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Obviously, because they're the goats of all entertainment to a
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah.
You know, we all know that.
That's the
But
best show. Yeah.
it's the best show of all time in a
Hmm.
way. You know, it's like better than The Wire, like
Yeah.
more impact. But like sometimes, like I'm watching these. Have you ever watched any of Amazon's new coverage of the NBA yet?
I've just seen I haven't actually like watched it, but I've just seen clips on social media and stuff. But it's I actually it seems like they're like starting to do something better from what I've
Than like
seen. Like
ESPN.
yeah.
It's its own thing. I mean, I don't have much of an opinion of it yet, but it's definitely its own thing. And then, but what I noticed halftime. Here's the halftime lineup Friday night of the game I'm watching. It's Lakers Clippers, and it's halftime, and they got like the host girl who just blends into just like all the others. And but then it's Dirk, Steve Nash, Blake Griffin, and Udonis Haslam. And I'm
That's
just
right, yeah.
like, and I just couldn't help but laugh because it's such a random group of people from like, but people who I grew up watching.
Yeah.
Um, but there's a lot of these players who are like covering it, and they're not necessarily great at broadcasting. They're just doing it.
Yeah.
Um, like not everyone is say Reggie Miller,
Reggie
who's
Miller's
clearly
great.
really good at
Great. Yeah.
broadcasting. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm trying to think of another example of someone who's good, but like Dwayne Wade does it for Amazon. Dwayne Wade's not great. He's
Yeah.
okay. Like he does it, but Dwayne Wade is not great at it.
That kind of it makes me think of did you see any of Derrick Rose's like jersey retirement stuff from
I
last
didn't watch
night?
the full thing, but I did watch him go on the air with Mike Breen and Tim Legler.
Oh, I didn't see
Um,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I'm saving the like. There's like a 45-minute clip of the ceremony, so I'm
yeah.
saving it. But what were you gonna? What
Well,
were you
because
getting at with that?
I remember they honored Derrick Rose like last year for something too, and he gave a
Right, right,
speech,
right.
and I just saw like part of his speech from last night, and it was just making me think like, man, Derrick Rose, maybe my favorite basketball player that I've gotten to like watch play, and probably my least favorite person to listen to talk. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's just like so he's so egregiously like not intelligent in like a traditional way, I guess. You know, obviously he's like incredible at what he does professionally, but yeah, it's like there's a lot of athletes there that like while they might help like get ratings because of their name and what they did as like an athlete, but then when they get to being like on TV
right.
having to like talk, then it's like,
Yeah.
man, this guy can only play basketball and that's kind of what he should only be doing.
Right, right. I think it's like, say, for guys like us who are like very into entertainment in general, and like no matter what it is, like if it's podcasting or stand-up comedy or like film or anything, and then we start watching sports, and you get that moment where, like, at first you're kind of like so into these athletes and you're amazed by them, and then it cuts to the sideline interview, and no matter who they are, no matter if they're good at talking or not, like if they're no matter if they're like Derrick Rose or if they're JJ Redick, there's like you're kind of being transported into this other world of like, oh yeah, this guy's an athlete.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot to say. Like
Yeah.
this is not why we're watching them. Like I always like remember that exact thing too every time there's an interview. And I'm not, and they're not even necessarily like Derrick Rose like where like Derrick Rose is, specifically from that part of Chicago where, where
Yeah.
we don't need to explain. And
Yeah.
like he's a product of his environment for sure. And
Hmm.
and yeah, I remember when we were kid, it was always hilarious when he would interview after the game, and then like some of our friends would probably be assholes and like make fun of him and shit, and stuff like that. And um, but like, yeah, it's hilarious because you're so amazed, and they are so good at their job, like what they actually do. But then they talk, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think my respect for this guy extends to when he's playing that game, and after that, I don't know how much like I don't know how much I need from him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that it just reminds me of, as you know, I'm a big Cubs fan, and like on the Cubs social media, as the players are like walking in, like before the game, they'll always ask them a question. Like one of them, I just remember this was like it was getting to be the end of the season, and it was fall, and so like, what's your favorite part about fall? And uh, so there's Nico Horner, probably my favorite player on the Cubs. He like went to Stanford. He's like a very
Uh,
smart guy.
nice.
Um, and
He's like a
and
Billy Bean. He's like what Billy Bean could have been,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Really cool guy, smart, and also a really good athlete too. But all these
Right.
guys are coming in, and it's like, what's your favorite part about fall? And they're like, football, yeah, football. And they're like, everybody, the next guy comes in, he's like, oh, football. And it's just like all these guys saying like the dumbest thing, like football, whatever. And then he comes in and he's like, what I really love about fall is like when the leaves are changing and then the air, there's like this crispness in the air. And it really feels like, you're part of the world, or like the earth is going through
Wow.
change. And it was like this really eloquent and interesting answer to
Yeah,
like, what's
yeah,
your favorite part about fall? And it's just like, there's some athletes they do have like the chops to,
right.
be on camera and talk. And then there are other ones that it's just like, just shut up and dribble. Like,
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I yeah, I mean, I noticed this. Like, I noticed this when watching the Bears game. Like, I mean, like Caleb Williams is a great guy, but he just speaks like how they all speak. You
yeah,
know. Um.
we all go through trials and tribulations. Like
Yeah,
they all
yeah,
say the
yeah.
same exact
It's the
things.
same crap. But that's kind
Trials
of,
and
I think,
tribulations.
that's kind of what you got to do if you're playing sports. You have to
Yeah, I
think very
guess.
narrow-minded because that's all you care about is winning this game.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like all you're thinking about.
yeah,
So, like at the same time, like LeBron is very good, has his script. I don't know if you watch LeBron interviews, but LeBron
yeah.
says the same thing every time.
He's very well
But
like
right,
PR
he's very
trained at this
PR
point.
trained. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, I feel like Michael Jordan was like a guy who he transcended like when he was off the court and they were interviewing him, you were like, oh, he's kind of also like a movie star in a way where when
Yeah,
he has all those memorable like he has that memorable quote like that was popping up in memes because of the Bears and shit. Like it's like you still got to come through Chicago. Like that
yeah,
one, like
yeah.
that is so cool. Still got to come through
He's
Chicago.
he's got like, yeah, charisma to like
Yeah, yeah.
another
He
degree.
had
Yeah,
charisma. Yeah. I mean, he's also like one of the craziest things to ever exist, just in
yeah,
general. That
yeah.
man. So, yeah, he's just on a. Oh, dude, I gotta tell you this. Um, so here, everybody, we're gonna get to our top 10, but here's
Yeah.
story time with
This is
Luke and
part of
John,
the Cinebums. Yeah.
and
Story time.
this is organic. All right, this is organic, off the
Yeah.
cuff storytelling because I haven't told John this story yet. We had storytelling hour before we recorded, but this one didn't fit in. But it's still significantly good story. So, and it's also Bulls related, which is why I think of it. So, anyways, I'm seeing Paul McCartney with my parents, right, over Thanksgiving,
Yeah, I haven't talked to you since you
right?
went to that.
banger! What a banger of an intro that is, huh? Um,
Oh, amazing.
and we're waiting outside of the United Center, and it's a really long line, and all these stupid people are like, "How come the line's so long?" And I'm like, "Shut up, dude! It's
It's a
Paul
Beetle.
McCartney's in
Yeah.
at the United Center. What are you talking about? It's sold out. What do you mean? Why is the line? And we're not
He's
even
like
waiting that long."
literally the most popular person like
Right,
in the past
right.
hundred
It's like
years.
Jesus being there, pretty
Yeah.
much, you know. Um, but at one point, Bill Wennington of the '90s Bulls,
Oh.
he goes up to security and tries to cut the line. It was pretty wild, and he didn't get
Wow.
in because he's not. I think it's because he's just Bill Wennington.
Yeah.
But I think if it was a different bull, you know, like maybe
Yeah.
one of the main three, they'd probably get in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Scotty or
Scotty Michael or
Scotty and Dennis
Dennis
Rodman
Rodman
and
probably gets
yeah,
in.
even
Yeah.
Horace Grant maybe you get in too, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
So that was crazy.
yeah.
Uh, and the show was pretty good. Yeah,
Nice.
it was really
Yeah,
good.
Carly got to like work at the one here, so she was there and she said it was like great. There were just like a couple songs where he was too old, like that he
Right,
just it was
right.
like oh, maybe I'm amazed. She said that one was kind of rough because he
Yeah,
just
because he
couldn't
needs to
hit it. And
go up,
yeah,
and he doesn't have it. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it was really interesting because I don't know, it's like, wow, I get to be around a bunch of people who care as much about this guy as
yeah,
much as I do. You know what I mean? That
yeah.
was really cool. There was like a one dude who was on the stairs, like by our seats, just like, and he was probably our age or younger, probably was younger. And he was just jamming to every song and singing like it was the greatest day of his life.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, he's more into this than I am, even.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty into Paul McCartney.
I thought I was like nerdy about Paul McCartney, but that guy is
No,
like,
you know,
yeah,
you go there and you realize that, like there are people who are even more into it than you, and yeah, I'm
yeah.
pretty into it. But yeah, he had this moment playing Blackbird, like your wife said. He's old. And he played for 3 hours. You know, he played for three
That's
hours and he's on tour, man. Like, I get tired doing the podcast and I need
yeah.
food and water, you know what I mean? Um, and a positive mindset and all that shit.
Yeah, got to be in the right
Um,
mood. Yeah.
yeah, I gotta be in the mood. Otherwise, I tell John, hell no. I had a mediocre day, John.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, go podcast
another
in your own
me-
time. Yeah.
another mediocre day, John. I do not have time for this. Um, but there's a moment where Paul McCartney is playing Blackbird, and the stage kind of rises. He has a band for most of the tracks, but during Blackbird, the stage kind of rose. So he's just like on the stage. He's like isolating him, and it's just him, and he's playing the acoustic by himself and singing. And that moment, I really wanted to hear. I'm like, how good is it really going to sound like with just him
Yeah.
as the stage elevates? And it's like, and he's just like, Blackbird fly, and he's playing the chord progression, and at one point he like messed up. He like messed up while he's playing, and then he's like, "Whoops!" And he just kept playing, and he was like, and then after the number was done, he was like, "Oh, I recovered there well, didn't I?"
And then everybody probably cheered.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
pretty much. Like everyone died. Yeah, it's pretty wild how cool a guy that old and also like not as good as he was for sure because he's not like I'm blaming him at all, but like who's not as good as he was, like how cool he still is to you, you know, because he
Mhm.
still had this like swagger to him and like all this like I don't know where like he didn't care, you know what I mean? Like he does not care about anything, and he was still so cool. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
despite when your grandpa at that age is probably sitting in a chair like
He doesn't do anything. Yeah.
yeah,
You'll
so
never be Paul
unproductive in
McCartney,
comparison.
Grandpa.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I still don't know why he's doing it, but he must just be the love of the
Yeah,
game, you know.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Same with Bob Dylan, like still touring
Right.
now. It's just, you know, you don't want to just like chill and um I mean Ringo, I guess, is still like making albums. He's like making country albums now. Like these guys just keep doing it even though
I
they're
don't know. I think it's
billionaires.
similarly to why like the audience of them like and I'm not like grouping I love the Beatles. They're like one of my all-time favorites, but in of anything in general. But like I'm unlike other people there where like other people there that to them is still music when to me there's like a lot of other music to listen to and that has been newer since the Beatles and like there's those people like say like my parents who are definitely like they're like living in that time still like the people who they see are of that era like
Hmm.
my dad sees the Dead every year. And so I think those artists are kind of still living in the past because that's what they know how to do the way
Yeah.
like our parents are with who they see concert wise. Here's a great opportunity to go through the set list.
Yeah.
um like they open up with like help like right
Mm.
away and I'm just like immediately like oh, okay jolted here we go you know
Yeah.
um trying to think of what else. What else did they play that I can like that was significant? I think Golden Slumbers and the End, right? It's
Mm.
called the Golden Slumbers, the End. That
Yeah.
was like kind of
That
like
medley.
yeah, kind of like SNL like 50 that was played at the very
Yeah.
end. That fucking rocked for sure. I
I
mean,
bet. Yeah.
dar 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 dar
Oh, it's so good.
dar dar. Um, he played I've Got a Feeling, which for me, of course, big fucking deal for me. Um
I've seen like a video of that. Did he like say like, no, like I'm gonna do a song with my friend John, and then like turn
yeah, he did.
around?
He had
Yeah.
multiple moments where he's like, at one point we were just some kids in Liverpool and John and I wrote this song and everyone just goes crazy.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
the John video behind, and like there's like a bunch of Get Back, um, Beatles Get
Oh
Back
yeah.
footage and stuff.
Have you listened to any of like the newly released anthology stuff?
I did.
Um,
That came out this year, right?
yeah.
I
There's
did.
a I haven't listened to all of it, but I did like the Baby You're a Rich Man.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's like take 17 or something, but there's
Right,
like
right.
great banter like leading up to the song of
Nice,
just them in the
nice.
studio. Like Paul's like, Mel, if you've got any cannabis resin, please send it in. And then John's like, yes, Mel, any cannabis, please. We'll take all the cannabis you have. They're just like kind of like chit-chatting and like fucking around. Yeah, I thought there was gonna be a new, maybe it is out, but I thought there was gonna be like a new documentary that Peter Jackson produced that like on Disney Plus again with like the anthology like footage. I thought I heard
Yeah,
about that, but I don't know if that's actually
that'd
come
be
out or not.
cool.
But
That'd be great.
yeah,
That'd be amazing.
yeah,
There's
I'd eat
like
that
it's
up.
never ending. Like there's like a John and Yoko doc on HBO Max. I don't know if you've seen
Oh,
that. I haven't
didn't know
watched
that.
it, but I know about it and I'm like, well, we'll get to that in due time. In due time. It just never ends all the Beatles content.
Yeah, there's a Paul McCartney documentary coming out in a couple of months. It's like
Jesus.
made by the same guy who did like that Bourdain documentary and
Oh, that should be
Mr.
good then.
Rogers. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, and it's like I feel like I've heard everything there is to hear about Paul McCartney, but
Yeah, I feel like
I'm
I know
gonna
everything
watch
about
it.
this man at this point.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to say about the concert, I guess. I could go on, but let's be real now, you know?
Yeah, for once, let's be real. But yeah, I'm glad you got to go, and that's yeah,
Yeah, it was it
super
was
jealous.
it was sick, man.
Nice.
Wasn't I gonna talk about is this thing on, John? And
Yeah,
like
yeah. About an hour
and
ago.
that and that's how we got to here.
Yeah.
Okay, movies that are not in the top 10. Is this
Yes.
thing on the Bradley Cooper Will Arnett joint? Hey, smartless, right? Um,
That's all right.
I mean, here's what I'll say about this thing on. Is this thing on to start since we've shit on his podcast so much during this episode? Will Arnett. It's great to see Will Arnett in like a movie that is trying to be serious and trying to take itself seriously and kind of well made and all that stuff because Will Arnett is a very talented guy and
Yeah.
I don't think we see enough I don't know, be like he does all the voiceover stuff and the podcast now, but I feel like we don't see enough on camera Will Arnett lately. And
Feels like it's been a while.
yeah, it's been a while. But it's great to see him in this, like, just as the focal point of the movie, like very the
Hmm.
main part of attention. And he's very good in this movie. And this movie, for those who don't know, also has Laura Dern playing his wife. And this is the movie where Will Arnett is the guy who's getting divorced. And so he just decides to go to a comedy club and try stand up comedy. And so he goes to where anyone can try stand up comedy on their first night. Of course, the Comedy Cellar. And he gets on right away, which is very frustrating for probably anyone pursuing stand-up comedy if they were to watch this. That the idea that you could just get on at the Comedy Cellar any night, and also suddenly you're sitting at the booth with the other comedians, which spoiler alert happens in this movie, and he's like, "Wow, so you guys just write stuff down all day?" And then go to my it's just really, really, of course, it's a movie made by Bradley fucking Cooper. It's very out of touch with the comedy scene.
Hmm.
Very out of touch. Um, and I would actually say, like, the comedy stuff in Is This Thing On, I liked the least out of anything in the
Wow.
movie, which is kind of like half the movie. Um, it's a weird, this is weird. This movie's weird, man. It's very strange. I definitely think you should check it out just to like see what I'm talking about when it comes out
Yeah.
on streaming. But it's a weird movie. It's really strange. Bradley Cooper shoots like the whole thing in close up. I swear to God. There's like such it's like barely I got so sick of being up in everyone's face. You're always
Mm.
right in Will Arnett's face. I'm like, dude, like mix it up. Like
Yeah.
it always looks the same. Uh there's a scene where Laura Dern is like on a date with like Peyton Manning and
What?
and then Peyton Manning's like, "Hey, I heard about this cool spot." And then they go to the cool spot ends up being the Comedy Cellar. And they just go in and see a show at the Comedy Cellar. Will Arnett's going up, like talking about his divorce and shit. And it's just the whole thing is very silly. And
Hmm.
there's things that are good about it. There's definitely things that are good about it. I mean, I think Bradley Cooper overall is always like kind of trying to go for it in whatever he's doing. But this one is his weirdest one by far of
Wow.
his directorial debut, and definitely like I think he's trying to do something maybe that like people can relate to in a way maybe because it's kind of down to earth in comparison to say like Maestro or A Star Is Born.
Stars Born. Yeah.
But I think he's way more in the right arena when doing those two films, like where it's like epic and grandiose and like uh just feels big and not very in touch with regular people. Because those worked way better for me. I think they're both like this movie is really strange and fails to be out of touch in touch with humanity
Hmm.
because it's not the people making it are not in touch with humanity. It's like
Yeah.
Laura Dern and Will Arnett like being a regular couple, and like Will and Bradley Cooper trying to like show you the comedy world, and um, yeah,
Was he like in the movie, not to give anything away, but like was it a thing of like when he started doing comedy? Was he like good? Was he like making people laugh right away, or was he like bombing? Like his character.
It's like really it's like that one. It's the same thing from the trailer. Like it's very uncomfortable um at first, and then he
Hmm.
starts making them laugh right away. So yeah, he never struggles really either. He's like it never shows like the bombing. There's very few uncomfortable moments. And he's not even like at like it's not even like an open mic. Like it's an audience. There's always like an audience. He's like in the main room at the cellar,
It's
and
weird.
and the movie basically says like, oh, like the restaurant connected to the cellar called like the Olive thing or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just trying to get. He's like, let me try to do Arnett. Like, I'm just trying. I'm just trying to get a beer. It's too hard. His
Just trying to
voice is
get a
too deep.
beer.
They're like basically they say like, hey, if you want to get up, if you want to get in tonight, so you can get a beer, you got to put your name on the list so you can go up. That's the only way. And then he just gets up. After he gets off, like a girl, like another, she's like, hey, why don't you stay and support your fellow comics?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, like you're new, right? Hey, stay and support your fellow comics. It's like, dude, like these people would not talk to this guy at
Yeah.
all. And
No.
like,
So like, okay, yeah, you're one of us now. You did it
yeah,
one
yeah, no,
time.
yeah, yeah. You know how hard it
So
is to break it, yeah, to get in with the people. And he's sitting at the main booth, um, like right away, which I don't know. Like part of me is projecting my own comedy journey into this, and also the fact that like I've watched, Judd Apatow and Pete Holmes crashing like multiple times, and like the whole arc of that show is like how he finally gets up at the cellar and sits at the main table with Etsy.
Mitzi?
Now
Is
Mitzi
that?
is
Oh,
Mitzi
that's the
Shore, the
comedy
store. I
store.
think I
Yeah.
think the cellar is Etsy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's something like that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Very
Um,
similar names randomly
yeah,
for these women who control
probably like
comedy.
these little old Jewish women running
Yeah,
these
yeah.
comedy clubs. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, the whole thing of crashing is like, you know,
That's like the same thing. Like he gets divorced and then starts doing
yes, but it's
comedy.
like the
Like
actual real, like
he's couch surfing
realistic.
though.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
couch surfing. It's but also it has like crashing has its own like okay, like the world is too open in a way in Crashing because he meets all these celebrities and like, he's hanging out with all the big comics, but that's also what's fun about it. But what it always kind of tries to maintain of the rules of the comedy world, I feel like in Crashing is like, okay, yeah, maybe he's meeting all the biggest comics and he's like sleeping on their couches and shit. But nevertheless, he still has to work his way into getting up at the cellar. He still can't get up at the cellar the whole time.
Yeah.
Um, it takes like him doing like opening for John Mulaney and John Mulaney like introducing him to doing a favor by introducing him to Etsy at the end is like the main. It's like it takes all of this stuff. Like he goes on the road. He does so many things before he gets up the cellar. Like he does. I'm trying to think of all the other stuff, but anyways, yeah, that's is this thing on the other hand gets up
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I will say about just working at a comedy club is we have like a new talent night every week. And even that, you have to sign up weeks in advance. Like it's, this is Denver, which has a, good comedy scene, but it's not New York. Like you have to like
It's not the biggest club, you know what I mean? Like the most famous club.
you have to sign up weeks and weeks in advance, and then you still might not even get on because of the amount of people trying to do it. And then even then, it's like that gets you, nowhere doing it one or two times. You have to do it years.
So new talent night is an actual show though that you guys put on.
Yeah, we just have one of our local comics hosts it, and then we have Janae, one of our comics, she like gives notes afterwards. So it's like it's trying to like help like foster like a good community of like comedians in Denver, but it's like there are people who do New Talent Night like routinely, but it's like they get up maybe once a month, and
Right,
it takes
right.
them years until they actually like would even get on our roster or start opening for someone else. Like it's not just,
Yeah,
even that, like anyone can't just like get up and do that. So it's like a part of the
yeah.
comedic, like the comedian journey is like doing these shows in like a cafe or a
Right, right.
brewery or
Going
something.
anywhere
And
you can go,
yeah.
basically.
And
Yeah.
that's more interesting to me than a guy who just like automatically gets to become a regular at the Comedy Cellar. Like,
I think it's like what it's trying to go for the movie is like this mystical, like, I don't know, element of like a guy is going into the is exploring himself in this other world. And so I
mhm.
think like there you can look at it from an angle of like, all right, the comedy rules don't really matter because it's about this guy kind of going into like he's going off from his suburban like home life to slay this dragon, and as he's doing that he's learning about himself. So I think that's what the movie's going for. However, even if you don't talk like if you just remove everything we were just complaining about, I still don't think this works.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
It's like
you
like Mike, where Lil Bow Wow just puts on Michael Jordan's shoes and then he
sure,
goes to the
sure.
NBA. He just goes straight to the NBA. From orphanage to NBA.
Dude, oh man, that was like that drove me crazy as a kid.
That is an insane movie. Yeah.
The kid is playing in the NBA.
And yeah, it's just like totally normal. And like
Right, he
everybody's just
doesn't
like
have to.
on
Right,
board
right,
with
right,
it.
right. It is what you're saying of like, yeah, yeah. He doesn't have to. Like, wouldn't the actual premise be like he puts on the shoes and then he's just killing it in middle school or
Yeah.
whatever? Like, and then he's such a great prospect that he's destined to be in the league. No, it's like no, like the team comes to his house and they offer him a contract.
Yeah. No, we want to sign this 11-year-old to our NBA team. Yeah, for some reason. It's crazy. That actually would be a much better movie though if he was just like balling out in his middle school team and then, became was like the story of like LeBron, getting drafted out of high
Right,
school and then
right.
becoming the best player of his generation. But no, it's like he goes straight from like an 11-year-old on a playground to the NBA, and Dirk Nowitzki's getting his autograph, and he's like crossing up Allen Iverson,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah.
it's insane. It's insane.
While like these like the NBA player, like all of his teammates are going to like strip clubs and
Right, 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 right.
dating Instagram
But
models.
he still
But
he
yeah.
still wants like a dad though. He's like, I still don't have a
Yeah.
father.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So then he gets adopted by his
Well,
teammate
well,
and
like he's still at like an orphanage
yeah. He's still an orphan.
while he's
Yeah.
an NBA player because he's still a minor. That's the thing they don't change. He's still an orphan. So like Eugene Levy, not Eugene Levy. What's his name? Who plays the famous actor, man?
Who's like running the orphanage?
Yeah, yeah. What's that guy's
Um,
name?
from Back to the Future, right?
Yeah, George McFly. Yeah, that famous
Crispin Glover. Crispin
Crispin
Glover.
Glover. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Crispin.
like
Yeah.
because he's just a kid, Crispin Glover, his like guardian or whatever, because he runs the orphanage that he goes to, is like able to reap the benefits of all of this kid's assets and earnings
Yeah.
because see he's allowed to make that much money, but he's not allowed to like be independent of his own like wealth, I guess, yet. Just like
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense at all.
It's
Like,
yeah.
and then what happens? Like at the end, he gets adopted by a basketball player played by Morris Chestnut,
Yeah. His
and it's
teammate.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, his teammate.
His coworker. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like what happens then is like Morris Chestnut in charge of his money now too. Like not only does he have his money, but like he's in charge of Bow Wow's money.
Yeah. Isn't this like child labor, like having a
Right, right,
underage
yeah.
kid work for your basketball team? Yeah.
And
Where
he's
he
still,
can't
but he's
even.
still his upbringing, like his upbringing doesn't change at all. He's like a poor orphan. And then there's moments in the movie where like his like people want to adopt him now just because he's a rich, famous
Yeah.
kid. And it's just it's that's ridiculous too. Also, the orphanage could not be in the most like stereotypical, like with a view of LA place. Like
Yeah.
it's like has a perfect view, like similar to the opening of Terminator 2, like a perfect view of downtown LA where this orphanage is.
Where it's like on the horizon, you can see like your hopes and dreams,
Right, yeah, yeah,
but
pretty
you're
much,
stuck in this
man.
rundown orphanage.
Right, right.
Is Jesse Plemons in that? Is he
Yeah,
like,
Jesse Plemons is in it. Yeah. Um,
wow.
there's a good clip of him talking to his wife where they're talking about each other's favorite movies, and Kirsten Dunst is like, "Oh, like Mike," and like makes a joke. I think my favorite movie of yours is actually Like Mike.
Like Mike. Yeah, Eugene Levy, Robert Forster. Oh yeah, and then his buddy is Jonathan Lipnicki, the Jerry Maguire kid.
Yeah. Dang, John, you really got me thinking a lot more carefully about Like Mike. I will not let it fool me
Yeah.
again.
We should almost do a whole episode on Like Mike.
Yeah, yeah, straight up.
Calvin
And it's funny,
Cambridge.
and I think it's funny that that you like is this thing on brought up Like Mike.
Yeah. With
Is this thing
his,
on is this thing on is Like Mike for comedy basically.
it's like Will Arnett finds George Carlin's old microphone,
Right, right,
and then
right,
he brings that
exactly.
to the
I
stage, and
found,
he's
yeah,
the
yeah. It's kind
greatest
of like
comedian ever.
the Danny Boyle movie, right, or whatever, where the guy finds the Beatles songs. He
Oh,
like he right
for some
he
reason,
perform
everybody, like the entire
yesterday.
memory of the Beatles is wiped from
Yeah, yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
memory,
It's
and
like
he
if
starts
Will
playing the
Arnett say
songs.
like found George Carlin's jokes or like Jerry
Yeah,
Seinfeld's bits or whatever, and like then he just started doing them.
that's what we should make that movie. That
That's a movie
yeah,
I could get. That's a movie I could get
yeah,
behind. But maybe we will use Jason Bateman again, another smartless guy.
yeah. There we
Um,
go. Yeah,
who do you think? When are they going to make the Jerry Seinfeld biopic? Like
yeah. When are we going to
you
see the
know,
origin story of
yeah, yeah, yeah. Where it
Jerry?
just shows him eating cereal and the montage, the never-ending montage of him eating cereal and just be like, ah, ah, and
What's
then
the
tries it
deal?
out. And then I tried it out stage. It was funny. I'm actually not a very deep guy. Like, I'm
That
really
we'll
just the
make that movie
material.
too. We'll make that too. We'll co-direct the Jerry Seinfeld
The
biopic.
meaningless comedy biopic.
Yeah, the biopic about nothing.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a great topic for it. I mean, a title for it. But yeah, that's is this thing on. I just wanted to touch on it. And I probably ate the time that I could talk about any other movie.
What where on your list is this thing
All
on?
right. You know, this actually like makes me because I just really talked a lot of shit about it, but it's at number 21,
I mean, out of how many? Is that like
40,
30, 40?
40. It makes me, I don't know, makes me think it should be lower on the
That's still
list.
middle of the road though,
Yeah,
not
I think I
terrible.
should bring it down a tad because I got it ahead of movies such as F1, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Wow.
Yeah, Mickey 17. I think it's made Frankenstein. I think it should go below those on rethinking it.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
you're right,
fair.
John. I
I'm
won't.
glad. Yeah, I'm glad we
I've
could
learned.
make that adjustment. Yeah.
But I don't know, John. Do you got any movies of your own to talk about
Um,
for an hour and a half?
yeah, okay, let's here. We'll block off the next hour so I can talk about I'll talk about my number 21.
Yeah.
No, all I'll say is I think there were some good like smaller
Yeah. What's your
movies.
number 21? I'm just
My
wondering.
let's just do our number 21s. I would say
Yeah.
there were some like smaller, not huge blockbuster movies that came out this year that I really liked that aren't in my top 10. Um, but just for like entertainment value, I'd say like things like Companion and The Monkey, I feel like didn't do well like critically, and they're not like incredible movies that would ever make, my top 10 or anything. But I think they're like it felt like there are still some like lower budget horror movies that are still being made that are at least providing entertainment value that aren't just like a complete rehash of something we've already seen, something like that. And I think something like Drop too, the movie that I would also say is not very good. I could, you know, go on about like how like ridiculous of a movie it is where this woman is in a restaurant getting airdropped all these threats, but it just provides like that kind of entertaining comfort that you want out of just like a 90-minute pure entertainment movie. And I think there were some of those like that. And then I would say there was movie made by very talented people like Jay Kelly that I just did
Yeah, yeah.
not give a shit about at all.
Right. I
Um,
I think
yeah,
Jay Kelly you can even lump together with this is this thing on
yeah,
or like
sure.
Mike even.
Yeah.
Cuz like Jay Kelly is so like well made and kind of beautiful, but it's also so out of touch with people that I was
Yeah.
watching. I'm like, who the fuck is gonna like this?
Who's this
Like,
for?
come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Who is this for? Like, who could
Other than
relate to
George
this? Like,
Clooney.
but
Yeah.
George Clooney. Yeah, but George Clooney.
Yeah.
Like, and there's an element, there's a side to it where you're like, oh, the writing is it's so well written, or like it's what's his name, Randy Newman doing the music again, which I think like Noah Baumbach, like I remember like the Marriage Story. Randy Newman
That was
is like
great.
really beautiful music and works well, and but I don't know. I've had some reflections on Noah Baumbach over this past year, but I think in terms of like now, I think Noah Baumbach, like in his past couple movies, is just kind of a bit of a out of touch director. Um,
Very pretentious.
I'm not counting the fucking the one that's based off the book that like wasn't very good.
White noise.
Yeah, White Noise. I'm not counting that one because that's like its own thing. But I just kind of feel like Marriage Story and Jake Kelly are kind of out of touch, but they're very like based. They're very like well made, and they're kind of based out of. They're very clearly inspired by movies from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s. You can see a lot of inspiration from those times. Um, but I just don't specifically Jake Kelly. Like I don't think anyone is going to really fuck with that hard. And I like movies that are kind of like out of touch and about successful people and about their like hidden world. But this one just did not do it for me. Um, yeah,
Yeah. I I feel like I really loved Marriage Story. I thought that was great, but I feel like besides that I struggle with Noah Baumbach because it feels like it's a lot of just first world problems like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like wealthy Upper West Side people who are just in like a shitty marriage or
yeah,
you
yeah.
know or like Kicking and Screaming. That's like one of his first ones,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I just could not get into that. I just couldn't care about any of the characters like they're like kind of rich kids that um acting like their life is so hard because they don't know what they
Right,
want to do
right.
with it. And it's like, you know, yeah, it's just hard for me to really get into it. And I felt like, yeah, Jay Kelly was like, now that guy is like older and even more out of touch and pretentious. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And it's like and I think there's good things. Like the beginning is beautiful. Like there's this like sweep through the sets, and there's like
yeah,
music playing, and I'm like, this is awesome. This is wonderful right now. And the ending is great too, where it like shows his movie clips and him and Sandler kind of like he has this moment where he looks over his career and feels like that's all he's done. I think that's great too. But there's just so much unwatchable crap I did not like.
yeah,
And I like everybody involved with this movie.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Even Sandler could not save this movie for me, man. Like,
hmm
yeah.
I had the thought when I was watching that if we do the bummies again and we do like a segment, yeah, because I the one scene where his like old friend he like reconnects with his old friend. I forget who plays him,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
he's
whack.
like,
Yeah.
just kidding. I fucking hate you. I think you're the
Right.
worst. And
Right.
I was like, I was thinking for the bummies, we should instead of like, they have like musical performances at the Oscars, we should do like a live reading of that scene. And I thought that'd be pretty
Oh,
funny
that's a
because
good
that's,
idea.
I thought that scene like it kind of made me laugh how like it switched like that. He's like, no, I fucking hate you. I wish you were dead, Jay Kelly. And it's just, yeah. For some reason, that scene really made me
Oh,
laugh. But yeah,
it's
um,
so it's
yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Um,
Now
but
this makes me
anyway,
want to put Jay Kelly lower on my list.
Jay Kelly's 32 on my list.
It's 22 on mine. Yeah, I think I should have
Um,
Jay Kelly lower than Frankenstein and F1.
yeah. Frankenstein, I wasn't super into as well, but I could, there, but there are parts about it that I did like. Um, I will say that
I
there
don't
was,
I wouldn't go on a rant probably about Frankenstein the way I am ranting about
no,
these.
I don't have a lot of opinions about Frankenstein.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I guess there are things that I'm disappointed by, like Mickey 17, of course, excited for a Bong Joon-ho movie. Then
Right.
I feel like I'm just not into his like English speaking movies as much
I
as
remember I thought that was like his uh Don't Look Up.
interesting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I felt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Just sad to he what he
Oh,
should really keep doing is, making like, you know, grounded improvisational based comedies with Will Ferrell
yeah. Just yeah, Adam McKay with Will Ferrell and John C. Riley and just,
and Bong Joon-ho.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um Yeah, I feel like yeah, I don't know if I'm sure Bong Joon-ho probably is like making good money by doing like these um English movies, but with how incredible Parasite was and how successful it was, I wish he would kind of, you know,
It's like a different director.
yeah, I feel like those are like the movies that he's like meant to do and that he's like really, really good at he's a master of doing that. So I wish he would just kind of stay in your lane, Bong. All right.
I think we'll get to movies on our list that are doing what Bong was trying to do in kind of like maybe more the
Yeah.
correct way. Yeah.
I guess should we
Yeah, I
transition
guess we
to
should
our
get to
list
those
then?
lists.
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk about the Roofman, but let's not. All right, John. Why don't you kick us off here? We've built up enough momentum. I think like couple hours is plenty of time to gain momentum for this podcast and
Yeah.
game. Smartless probably just starts. They don't let it, they don't let it go because they got,
Yeah.
this is the the beauty of having such a vast amount of free time, is that
Yeah.
you could wait for it to build the momentum to build
Yeah.
before you get to your actual topic.
But that's how you get the best quality of podcasts is when you let it, you got to let it simmer a little
Let
bit
it
and then
take the time,
build
and yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. This is similar to like you slow cooking
Yeah.
the chicken or the whatever, or the turkey on Thanksgiving, but you let it go 8 hours and see the difference between your dry. That's how you get a nice juicy turkey, but instead of your grandma's dry turkey.
Yeah. We're the crock pots of
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, of podcasts. Yeah.